Camera speed, sound speed.
Good job.
Huh?
The camera person.
Put it on a resume.
Okay, so you ready for this?
Dun, dun, dun,
I'm not. Y'all ready for this? I'm not really sure how to do this without
Do you want me to face? Should we be
triggering you.
facing each other?
No, this isn't like an intimacy exercise. This is what our YouTube channel should have been this entire time. Okay.
Okay.
So, this is actually a good place to start. 10 years ago today, this amazing creature. I don't like creature. Okay, so
What day of
don't
the
look
week
at me
is it?
weird.
What day
10
of the...
years ago today,
What month is it?
stop talking through me. Holy crap.
February 8th.
Okay.
Are we still speeding?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, Slurpee.
Okay.
10 years ago today, this amazing goddess picked me up from my condo in Indio, and we headed out to Joshua Tree for the very first time. And then in talking in the car, we drove right past the Joshua Tree exit and ended up at a place that I had passed. Violet, can you go turn the fridge off?
I don't.
Unplug it. You gotta unplug it.
Ow, what?
Yeah.
Should I press the button?
No, you can keep rolling. Do something fun, Mom.
Do. No, you're not actually unplugging the fridge, are you?
Yeah.
Why?
Where's the plug at? Is it... No, I can't move the fridge.
Hey, Dad.
All right, we'll have to just be conscious of that because the mics are way over here. So we are still speeding. Let's reset the camera.
It's getting really hot. Do we need this fireplace?
It's for ambiance.
Can I take my sweatshirt off then?
You can take whatever you want off. Go ahead and roll. Mom's taking clothes off.
It's hot. Muy caliente. But it's weird that I'm in a tank top next to the fire.
Camera speed, sound speed.
Chuk chuk.
Oh, Thomas, really? You gonna be a sound problem?
Be quiet.
Now we have to start over because you changed wardrobe.
Okay.
10 years ago today, this amazing goddess picked me up at my condo in Indio, and we drove out to Joshua Tree for the very first time. And then in talking in the car, we drove right past the Joshua Tree exit and ended up going to an abandoned school that I had driven by a dozen times, and we finally just stopped and got into it. That was basically our introduction to each other, was kind of driving around the desert and taking pictures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the rest is
History.
history. Okay, so yeah, what do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah.
Do you have anything you remember, like reminiscing? Do you regret it?
Regret it?
Yeah. Do you regret it?
No.
Are you glad we did it?
No. I mean, things turned out to be very different than what I thought or assumed or expected. But I don't think I really knew what I expected things to be. We were just going out there to run around and be a couple little wild, feral
That was
people.
actually my first experience being a wild feral person.
You know what I do remember is by the time we got into Joshua Tree, it was dark.
Yeah. About
And
this time
we
of the day,
got-
we were looking for
a camp spot
a fire pit. Yeah.
Right, and the place we pulled into, what was the name of the campground? Do you remember?
First one? I don't remember the
No,
first
where
one.
we ended up staying.
White Tank.
White Tank. Okay, so when we pulled in, we got the last camp spot that was available. And I remember the next morning, like I had really no kind of comprehension of like where people were in the campground. I just remember waking up We slept on the ground, just in sleeping bags.
Super comfortable. If you've ever slept on the ground in Joshua Tree, it's highly recommended.
Not in a tent. We were just in our sleeping bags, and we woke up in February, and we woke up and we had hot coffee. I brought the Jetboil and we did that. And I just remember like the sun coming up and me climbing up on that pile of rocks and getting naked and doing like yoga poses on the rocks in the middle of the campground. And you kept being like, people are starting to wake up. I think they can see you. And I'm like, no. And then we've gone back there
and there's just
dozens of times. And I'm like, it's literally this mound of rocks in the middle of the campground. And I was just up there so in it.
I mean, we were up shooting by like 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Before then, probably.
Yeah. But it is really interesting because I think when I go back and I think of places or situations that I've been to the first time and I've never been there before or experienced that and what that feels like, and then compare it to when you get so familiar with a place, like White Tank became a regular stop for us. Mm-hmm. And those little paths and crevices and rocks and, you know, areas that we would go and shoot in became so familiar. And so I think about that fresh newness and that perspective that I had versus the perspective of knowing a landscape or knowing a person so well. And it's just such a different experience.
All right. Well, I mean, ask me questions.
Oh, I'm supposed to ask you something?
Violet, do you want to ask us some questions?
Do
Do you have any tween questions for us?
Hey!
What was the story that I told you when I was driving? I believe this was our first trip, that I was driving and you recorded me for the first time with your 5D Mark II. Mm-hmm. What story was I telling you?
I want to say the transportation story.
Yeah, of the cannabis.
But that wasn't it.
It wasn't?
No, I was looking through footage the other day, and you told me that story when we were driving out to Calico, when we went out to Zizek's.
Oh, you're right.
That was the trip where you told me that story. I forget exactly what you were talking about, but you went on a little rant about usefulness, apocalypse usefulness. That's what you were talking about. Like if the world were to come to an end, what abilities would you have that would not only keep you alive, but contribute to your immediate society enough to keep them from wanting to kill you, basically. Mm-hmm. Keep
or
you a part
exile
of their,
me,
yes,
like what?
And then I realized I probably should have run for my life because my only ability was like creativity. Like I could take pictures of you guys, but we don't have any power, so
yeah.
I could play the piano.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
I don't know how to, at that point, I'd never even slept under the stars before. That was the first time I ever slept under the stars. And my reason for never going camping or never going on adventures like that was very elemental, but I'd never done it before.
Didn't I tell you to bring a bunch of layers?
Yeah, layers. Come on. Layers. It was friggin' cold.
I was warm.
Like I
had
slept,
layers.
I slept, but like it wasn't even just the cold. Like what I should have brought was cushions. Because I would have slept a lot better if my bony ass hips weren't digging into the Joshua Tree.
See, I got all the cushions. I got the cushions.
I don't have cushions,
and I had
especially
the layers.
then, because then I was like a good 150 soaking wet. So I'm like, my hips suffered, and the shivering was bearable if it wasn't so painful at my hips. But
Yeah.
but
what was a positive thing from sleeping under the stars? What was something that you
it just completely changed my perspective on everything. That completely changed how I live my life.
So it was 10 years ago today.
10 years ago today.
And today's February.
And she had sent me a message mid-January, I think. Do you remember the January date?
No.
I want to say like the 14th or 15th. Maybe it was later. But yeah, she sent me a message and asked me what I charged to take pictures. And we both lived in the same mountain town, but we didn't really know each other. There's funny little quippy stories of us interacting in a little mountain town, but we weren't really like friends. We didn't hang out. We didn't know each other. So then randomly, it was a while. It was like almost 2 years after I'd been exiled from Underworld.
I reached out. And you're like, well, what kind of pictures?
Yeah, 'cause
like
I didn't know.
boring pictures? And I'm like, no. Like I had Violet at the time. I think she was about 1.
Yep.
She had just turned 1.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm like,
Now I'm double ones.
that's right.
That was a very tween thing to say.
Hey!
Just saying.
So anyway, I just wanted to explore what it felt like to be in my body after having a baby, and kind of what I went through in that relationship, and find that love and comfort within this meat puppet again.
Do you think you found what you were looking for in your gas bag?
Yes and no.
Yes,
I don't think I really knew what I was looking for. I think, yes. But then there's this whole, I wonder what my actual purpose behind wanting to do that was. I mean, a lot of it was to find that confidence and love in my body again. And it was also, but then I just was like, well, that really stemmed the journey, that 10-year-long journey that I've been on of not worrying what other people's perspective of my body is. And when things are very public, it's right there, you know. But that wasn't my original thought. I do remember I wore way too much makeup, way too much jewelry. Like I had all that like tribal. I like brought all this stuff and all these props, and I just wasn't. And so it's been really amazing in the last 10 years to watch myself let go of all of those things and just become this animal that doesn't need all of that those human things, and just being like completely pure, completely animalistic, feral, and just rolling in the dirt, messy hair. And those are really the most monumental things I think we've done. I remember Violet was staying with Ryan, and I remember calling.
Yeah, the first video I took was actually you on the phone calling.
With Violet and talking to her.
Oh, I was so tiny.
You were little and bald and cute. She didn't really like you at first.
No, she didn't. She didn't like me at all. And that lasted about 7 years.
No.
What?
No.
That didn't.
But I do. I remember you recording me on the phone with her. I also remember running around in Joshua Tree, not quite knowing what to do. I knew what to do. It was within me, but I didn't have the comfort of just being, you know. And I remember some of the photos that you sent, and I was like, wow, like you really had to pull. You had to really look
I had gotten
through.
used to doing that with some of the people that I worked with.
Okay.
But
I
I
was
mean,
like-
yeah, I just remember following you around, and you were just going and
Running around and-
smelling these flowers and going climbing up on this rock. Then you would kind of pose, kind of not pose, and you'd go build a cairn, and then you'd go. And I kept having to find your clothes and follow you around with your clothes.
Oh, because I was just running around
Yeah,
naked. Like I just didn't even. Yeah.
But I
want-
had to keep a pin on where your clothes were. at
Oh,
all
that's
times.
funny.
Because every once in a while, someone would come walking around the corner, and you'd just be like, "Hi."
We should all be naked.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that stand out the most to you about that first day of us meeting?
I just remember. I remember just kind of having to surrender, because there was. I wanted to just, in my in my life journey, I just wanted to just accomplish something. I felt like I didn't have much time. I didn't have enough time as I could have had with you to accomplish something. So anytime you would like wander off and start smelling a flower or tell me the botanical history of that flower and all its medicinal purposes, like it's endearing now and it's very much who you are. But then I was just like, I just got to surrender to this and let her wander around a little bit. And I just took pictures of you smelling flowers. But that was, I remember that. And just feeling like, I remember just feeling kind of like this was a new, I don't want to say opportunity because there's more than that. But like it was a new world opening up. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like it was a new world of possibilities. A new story was starting. That's what I felt like. A new story was starting. And it was like, I spent those 2 days trying to learn your language and I did not at all. Mm-hmm. And I just remember thinking, this is going to be a lot of work.
Mm. It's been a breeze.
Oh yeah, piece of cake.
So one of my favorite posts that you made from that whole first journey, I think it was 2 or 3 posts after we went, and it was when we were at Desert Center, and it was me leaning over this yellow flower that was growing out of the cement.
It's the quote.
Yeah, the earth laughs in flowers.
Oh yeah, well, whose quote was that?
Emerson?
I want to say it was Emerson, yeah. The earth laughs in flowers.
The earth laughs in flowers.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, are you glad you did it, or do you wish you could go back in time and...
I'm glad I did it. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, I think that that's such a difficult question because, I mean, you go back and you change one little thing and it changes absolutely everything. And I wouldn't want that. There are aspects that I wish I could go back in time and do differently, as far as how I handled things, communication, being clear and concise about needs and comfort. But I feel like so many of our experiences shape, I mean, all of our experiences shape who we are and where we end up in life. And I wouldn't have the knowledge that I have today if I didn't go through.
And
I wouldn't change. No, that was a blast. I had so much fun on that trip. The one thing I would change is I would probably pee on the fire building because they didn't actually let me use their bathroom. Instead, I was nice and I went and peed behind a bush. I wish I just would have like
fire pit.
I wish I would have just peed on the actual
No, we
building.
went. Okay, here's the story. We went to, first of all, we went to the school in Desert Center. And then we took the back way into Joshua Tree, which I don't know the names of the numbers of the highways. Ask Google. But for some reason, I saw these salt flats that were north of there. And I thought we could go hit the salt flats before we go to Joshua Tree. And it's like the distance out there is so massive. When you look at a map, you think, oh, that looks close. But in reality, it's like a 3-hour-long drive.
Yeah, it's fine.
So we started driving towards the salt flats, didn't make it past Wonder Valley, which if you know the area is like right there. And like you get to the end of Wonder Valley and then you head north towards Amboy. See how that came right to my head?
I'm directionally challenged, so I don't.
So yeah, we got to about the community center fire station of Wonder Valley, and I realized looking at the gas that we weren't even going to have enough gas to get there. And yeah, we looked up, and under the Wonder Valley Community Center building, there was like a book club sign.
Yeah. In
And
a fire station.
I gave you a book and told you to go pose underneath it. Mm-hmm. And then she needed to pee, so she went into the fire station, which is they're like there to serve you, right? That's why so they told her there was no bathroom. Where did you end up peeing?
Just on a bush behind it.
You should have peed on the fire
I
station.
should have peed on the fire station.
You should have lit a fire.
And put it out with my pee.
Put it out with your pee. And be
What
like,
time
I'll
is
help
it?
you.
What's 1821? What does that mean?
That's 6:21, love.
Okay.
Everywhere else in the world, but here.
621. So Yeah. Would you change anything?
No, I absolutely believe, even you being more communicative, like the beginning of our relationship, which all just happened kind of fast, it was very confusing for me because I don't think or act like normal people. But at the same time, like, I don't know if I would have learned everything I needed to learn unless it happened the way it happened.
Right.
So it's
Right.
always, you could always go back and say, I wish I would have been a better communicator. I wish I would have done things differently, but everything had to happen the way it did.
In order for things.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I would have, if I could do it over, just going and completely surrendering to the process instead of still playing a character in front of the camera. Does that make sense? Like, just going and just being like, don't care, this is what I'm doing. But I still was just like so insecure and unsure. But that also was a part of the journey.
Yeah.
So
That made for some very, I want to say innocent, but it was the photos themselves were very cute and playful and
and
innocent.
sweet. Yeah, and sweet.
Are we still rolling, kiddo?
Yeah.
Kiddo-do?
Yeah, we're still
Kiddo-do.
Okay.
So I
You
don't
doing
know.
stretching now?
Because I'm not used to sitting down like this anymore.
Yes, it's uncomfortable. I don't know how I sat at the Zen Center for so long. It's like painful to sit like this.
I'm stretching.
Is there anything else we'd like to add?
I'm trying to think.
First of all,
It would have been fun if it had been longer. If we had had a couple other longer extra days, that would have been nice. But
See, I
had a baby at home though. And
Yeah, you had a baby at home, and I was used to, when I did work with people, I worked with them for a couple hours. So
Yeah.
you had to like cram as much as you could into a couple hours. It had been so long since I actually went to a location with someone and hung out there for a couple days. And like the second day was, we were on our way out. That's what the journey was. We were
Yeah.
on our way out. But we
Yeah.
took our time
Right.
and got some good shots.
Right. I'm just waiting to find that place here, or the places here.
Oh, that's what we should probably add. Where are we right now?
Where are we, Violet?
We're in Omaha, Nebraska.
We are in Omaha, Nebraska, he says defeatedly.
No, it's really not that bad.
It's not that bad.
It'll be fun. I do think we're going to have to go on longer trips to find cool things. I mean, it's just such a different
some
climate
cool
out
places
here.
here. I mean, that Salvation Army building was amazing.
That
It a
was
gold mine.
rad. In fact,
Like, I
we
can't wait
will
to go back.
probably go back there many times because that's
I think the
one
best
of the
thing,
few
the best thing we
places.
could have done today for a 10-year anniversary of going to Joshua Tree would be to go on an adventure, but it's friggin' cold.
it's cold.
We thought it was cold at Joshua Tree in February.
Forget
It's like
it.
20 below here.
No,
It's not that now, but you know.
it's like probably 7 degrees with the wind chill right now. Like, I'm not going to go run around
That's
naked
Fahrenheit.
in this.
It's Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit. I'm not going to go run around naked in this. We're going to have some fun adventures in this area, even if it's not necessarily within a 20-mile radius of here. We have all of Minnesota to explore. We can head towards Indiana. We have a lot of different areas.
I'm still looking at
I
you,
want to go
Montana.
down to the Ozarks and go camping, and we still have years. I mean, how many years do we have before she goes to college? And you are going to go camping with us,
Hey.
and you're going to love it.
You're going to love it,
I'm
whether you like it or not.
Even when you're a teenager and parents aren't cool anymore,
I don't think that's true.
we're still going to go run
Can we
around
get that in
naked.
writing? I'm serious.
We're still going to go run around and be naked as a family.
Can we do the time when we went to the camping trip and we fed those wild birds, the turkeys and the blue jays?
When we picked up
That was the
when we
beginning
picked
of
up
our.
Dale.
Well, that's a whole nother video. Us escaping California and going to live on the road is a whole nother video. But we can do that. Yes,
I want to do that again.
I mean for sure we will find those animals everywhere.
Well, yeah, but like.
I think that campground in Kansas is actually pretty close with that lake that we went.
Hey, happy 10-year.
10-year anniversary.
Not in front of the camera. You died already. Ew.
Welcome to Tweendom.
Ew.
Okay.
No, that's not nice.
Yeah, 10 years. So, I mean, we have like 5 anniversaries. I feel like our ceremony anniversary is not as significant as something like this, because this, in my mind, in my autistic, retard mind, our story started when we tangibly went out and accomplished something together, and both made the active decision to continue telling that story. So that's where our story started.
And the rest is history.
Even the first kiss story, like that just makes it complicated.
The first kiss story does?
Yeah.
Why?
Because then we went beyond being 2 people who were accomplishing something together to being
In a relationship.
in a relationship.
I remember the first time
that's when
fans
I started getting through.
I remember the first time we were like messaging back and forth, and I think this was after we had already gone and shot. And I was like, hey, let's just go do some super fun things together. Like, I want to go check out this and do this. And I had the freedom at that time because Violet, I think every other weekend you would go and stay a couple nights with Ryan.
I actually didn't meet you until like mid-March, I think.
Yeah. So, and you said, and I said, let's go. And you said, that's an awful lot like dating.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, that sounded terrifying to me.
It did it?
Do you remember that next weekend after we shot in Joshua Tree?
No.
I was supposed to go to Arizona for Valentine's Day.
Oh.
So I went up to Ottawa. Picked you up from the movie that you went to see with your friends, which I think was... It's a 50 Shades of Grey, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh, and we went and drove on the back
We
roads.
went and drove on the back roads. That's when we were walking back to your car after I picked you up. You went to... Did I bump you into the street or something? You bumped me into the street and you said suicide is romantic.
You should have known then.
It's just like, I should have known. I should have run for my life.
You should have known then that you were getting in a relationship with a crazy person.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's a whole nother video too. So let's I love you. I'm glad you're still here.
Wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. But no, don't stop it. Don't just cut it. Wait till the director says cut.
Oh, sorry. I was just.
We need to assign a director. Thomas?
Hey!
you-
He's sleeping. I'm
Thomas,
the
wake up.
director here.
Okay, well then you tell us what to do next.
Interact.
Interact? We've been interacting for like an hour and a friggin' half.
I didn't mean that interact.
You need to be more specific. Direct.
With words. Like, I don't know.
We never clap this in. Yeah, that's all you need.
Okay, now we're going to do it naked.
Okay.
Y'all ready for this?